Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and in this video we are looking at this lovely new arrival all the way from Takara Tomy via In Demand Toys here in the UK. Starting to arrive, so some of you may have got yours, in which case please let me know down in the comments your initial thoughts. This is the Missing Link prototype Arcee. So this is the Arcee, well, I say prototype, it's not the prototype colours, that is available as a separate figure. I'm not going for the prototype colours, but conceptually it is a prototype for a 1980s Arcee figure that never actually saw the light of day. It never actually got commissioned and finally made until now. So in the throes of the Missing Link line, we are now getting a brand new retro, never before existed flashback to talk about time traveling toy collecting. This is the epitome of that. So it's Arcee as Arcee would have appeared if Arcee had got a G1 release. And I've got to be honest, from even the packaging, now I get it that the packaging is all in the sort of original Japanese, and I get that, but you can get past that. You know what we're looking at here. We're looking at the Transformers logo. We're looking at the Autobots logo. We're looking at Arcee's details. We're looking at the artwork of Arcee, where it makes her look like she's actually a transforming robot with articulation. Takara Tomy and a little window. Oh, I love a little window. Apologies, I am yawning. I've had a 13-day, you don't care, but I've had a 13-day work day. And I'm not long in, and this was waiting for me, so super excited. And I just wanted to get, well, A, I wanted to get into it and have a look at it, but B, I wanted to share it with you as well, because again, there's so many wonderful things landing sort of in close proximity with each other. So I'm just super excited and trying to keep on top of it, because I'm really not on top of it. As I'm looking to my right, which I just gestured to you, which you can't see. And there's a ton of stuff that I really want to start making videos to show off and be excited and thrilled about. And in a couple of instances less excited, but I'm stuck because there's just so much to get through. But I thought, well, this is a real I don't want to call it an oddity, but it kind of is an oddity in amongst the ranges that we're getting, because there's not a lot of Missing Link products, so I'm quite keen to share the ones as they come, as they drop. So on the front you can see Arcee as discussed already. There's her robot mode there, and her alt mode is visible through the window in that sort of pink futuristic car mode. And what I love as well is you can see the rub sign on full display there. Fantastic stuff. There, as we always had in the 80s boxes, is the transformation steps decked out in photographic form on the top. Absolutely gorgeous. We've got Arcee in both modes on the side here. We've got Arcee in both modes on the side here. And we've got international words on the bottom and some numbers, because, you know, love numbers. And then on the back we have some fabulous 1980s artwork. We have Arcee's tech specs. I have no hope at all of this. And here we have some really important stuff that is probably really, really important. So by all means, pause it if it's on your phone and translate it, and that'd be amazing. This is one of my favourite rear pieces of artwork. The Metroplex and Triptychon and the Predacons and triple changes. I just love it. This one really speaks to me as to my childhood, because Metroplex was a must-have, and I did get for a Christmas present. Along with the Protector Bots there. Ultra Magnus was a Christmas present. It really sends me back to a place that I get very excited about. It's still sealed, so I'm not going to bore you with opening it up. If you want to watch me unbox it, then I'll do a separate video, and I'll put that together for Patreon viewers as part of their October delights. But stick with me and we'll get Arcee out of the packaging and we'll have a look what's there. And in the meantime, please drop a like to the channel, and if you're not already, subscribed to the channel, if you're one of those people who intermittently pop along and watch stuff that tickles your fancy, that's fantastic. But it would really mean the world to me if you could drop a totally free subscription to the channel. It really helps the channel and really helps me massage my ego as it gets me towards my next subscriber milestone. But if you can't, you can't. Don't you worry about it. I'm just glad that you're here. Stick around. Arcee will be out of the box any second now. Okay, so here we have Arcee, all lovingly taken out of the box, very, very carefully. It was beautifully packaged, actually. The toys were beautifully packaged in the box. If you want to see me do a full unboxing of Arcee and all the stuff that comes in the box and how it's presented in the box, which is very nice, then do check out my Patreon. It's available for free membership tier and also the paid membership tier. Both tiers will have access to this to the unboxing video. But she looks fantastic in this mode. But before we get there were some inserts which I go over in a bit more detail on Patreon. We do get the tech spec decoder, proper classic. We get the Arcee character card, which I know is something that Japanese releases are very big on. That we get the instructions, which are beautifully done illustration wise, so there's nothing to really worry about or complain about. From my point of view, it all looks really, really straightforward. It shows you where we can store. The only accessory you get is this blaster, which you've got two options for. I've chosen to put it near side, so it matches that, but all the instructions are there, very, very clearly demonstrated. And then there's two fantastic things. One is a real high, one is a real not high. The real high is it comes with this little booklet, which is a throwback to, what would you call it? The sort of tick sheet about the collectible, you know, when we used to collect the Transformers in the 80s, they had a little leaflet inside that opened out into a poster, and you could get all the current stuff that was available in there. So you had one side was a poster, the other side was essentially a marketing ploy, but you ticked off the ones as you got them. This is brilliant. It's full of Metroflexes, and it's also got Ultra Magnus there, and white Optimus Prime Ultra Magnus there, my word. Superion there in what looks like Diaclone colours to me. I'm not going to open all. Well, he says opening it up. There's a glimmer of what's inside. That's the prototype version of Arcee in the. So it's the same model, but in the prototype colours. But if you want to see all the stuff that's on here, pop over to my Patreon. The link is in the description down below, and you can watch the unboxing where I will go into all of this in much more detail. So that was a real high because I love all this artwork and all that blah blah blah. The low, this won't come as a surprise to some of you, is this stickers. It comes with stickers. So the expectation is, of course, that I have to put the stickers on, which is very 1980s. Yes, I accept that. Very, very 1980s. But I'm not very good at putting on stickers. I suck at it, frankly. And they're kind of important ones because they're her insignia, etc. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. I'm not going to rush into putting them on because, as some of you will be aware, the reason I hate doing it is because I'm rubbish at it. Anyway, enough about my inadequacies. Let's take a look at the vehicle mode for Arcee. She's packaged in vehicle mode, which I love, proper 80s feel. And I've got to say, the car mode's quite heavy, and it has it's clearly plastic, but it does have a sort of metallicized feel to it. It's got that wonderful rub sign there. I hope it's going to work. It's quite cold, so it might not work. Might need super lots of rubbing, don't we all? There it is. It's working. Fantastic. There's that return of the liquid crystal rub sign. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. Let's take a look at the car mode. I've attached her blaster there, just so you can see it close up. It's moulded in pink plastic. It's very straightforward and simple. I can't say it's what her G1 gun would look like because she never got a G1 figure, but let's assume it is. I trust Takara Tomy on this one. She's got sort of blur-esque detailing here on the back. Windshield. In fact, there are quite a few similarities between her and the concept of blur as vehicle mode, in my opinion. Apologies if I've said that before somewhere. If I haven't, I meant to. I really love the paintwork. It's a very subtle tone of pink. It's a nice sort of muted baby pink, and it works, I think, really well. It works really well with the grey highlights and the white inserts. It's really, really lovely, and again, the detailing is terrific. It sort of screams Futurama. I don't mean the cartoon. I mean sort of what people in the 1950s and 60s, if you watch some of those old black and white information movies and films, it's what they would believe a car of the future would look like, and it would look like this. If this was coming out of the 1950s, some sort of 1950s expo as a car of the future, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, that's what they think cars of the future look like, because it is. Unfortunate bit round the back, but again, let's not lose sight of the fact this is this is the G1 figure, well, one of the many G1 figures we never got. So this is the G1 representation of RC that was never really made, never really sort of went to production. And it is, I think, lovely. And I'll be really honest, because I do have a bit of a soft spot for the sort of the 86, and I know people hate them, and I understand, I do get it, because there's a lot of shell forming / parts forming, which is a shame. Sometimes it has to happen, and we were kind of spoilt a bit in the 80s because we didn't have an awful lot of that, because it was extra parts, and the only bits that sort of parts formed in inverted commas were weapons that sort of were repurposed within the transformation, and I don't really think that's parts forming, if I'm honest, but that's just my view. But I think this does a better job than the Studio Series 86. I mean, okay, it doesn't really capture exactly, well, it kind of, in a way, it does, doesn't it? It's not exactly screen accurate for the movie, but then it's Studio Series 86 RC. And again, then there's the War for Cybertron RC. Very parts formy, comes with its own floating platform, sort of hoverboard type thing, which is really, instead of it being a backpack, which it ends up being anyway, so that you can sort of wear it and have a lie down like a duvet, which is basically a duvet transformer. But I like the figures. I might not like the transformation, but I like the figures, and I can to an extent separate the two out for the purposes of talking about them. The transformation, the engineering isn't brilliant. It's basically a robot doing yoga, clambering with under a backpack. Tortoises did it first. But this is a different class. And I know it's a different price point, but there's just something about this that really works. It rolls beautifully. It's also giving me, and for no reason other than probably because it's got pink bits, it also has it just reminds me of that sort of, again, the Futurama sense of Fab 1, Lady Penelope from Thunderbird's pink Rolls Royce. It's obviously is nothing like that, but there's just something tonally for me about it. You're probably thinking I'm mad. You're quite right, I am mad, but that's what I think, that's how I feel about it. But I think it looks absolutely stunning. Again, the underside, you can see that there's some obvious transformation bits in there, but what I like about this is that it's transformation bits. It isn't just lie down and cover yourself in a backpack. It does feel like there's actually a transformation here. And I think there's going to be. I mean, well, I know there is because I've seen the instructions. So I'm sort of excited about that. I'm not excited about putting the stickers on, to the point where I might not put them on. But we'll see about that. We'll see about that. But yeah, vehicle mode, can't complain. Think it's really stunning. It's quite late, so I'm not going to take her outside and do any sort of photography for the sake of this video. I might do some other stuff. Maybe stick it on Instagram and Patreon down the line, because I do think this is lovely. But for the here and the now, I'll do some shots sort of in here with some lighting and stuff. But I think this is fantastic. Of course, the big question is, what does she look like in robot mode, and how do we find the transformation? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to do it. And here she is, all transformed out of her vehicle mode and into her robot mode. And I have to tell you folks, the transformation was so simple and straightforward. I feel I could almost have done it on camera. As most of you all know, I don't do them on camera because I don't want to end up swearing and screaming and shouting and making a big mess of things and breaking stuff, because I do like to take my time, and I think the pressure of doing it on camera, yeah, I'm not, because I always do it. This is the first time I ever transform them, is when I transform them for yourselves. It's very straightforward. There's some fascinating articulation. She doesn't have, as you can see, because there's just no design for it there, any kind of waist articulation. That's not a thing. She does have arm articulation here, bicep, well, elbow really. Hands can't do much, but she does have a shoulder articulation here, sort of, which just gives a bit of extra positioning for her there. The head can go fully round, but it is, I will just say, extremely stiff, but a very great upwards look. She can look down, so she's got that sort of posability. She can hold the gun there. There is some waffling and some spacing that's a bit iffy. The legs are a strange one. The feet are sort of pre-positioned in a slightly peculiar way with no, well, I don't seem to have any ankle articulation, and you can go forwards and backwards, but that's it. There's no sort of ankle tilt, and it just feels like if I tried to, they would break, so I'm not going to force it. So if any of you know otherwise with yours, let me know, but they just look a little bit unwilling to maneuver. That said, there is a limited front and back movement there. You can open it out to the side a bit. You've got knee, which is really good, so she can do sort of exciting dynamic posing that way. There is a port here should you wish to pop her onto a stand, so that's great. The Autobot symbol, which we know should be on her chest, is currently on a sticker sheet, which I've not done. If I don't know, I'm in two minds about whether or not I'm doing that, but we shall see. But I've got to say, I think this is a lovely figure. I think it's very evocative of the 80s. It's so, I mean, it's obviously, I mean, we know it's Missing Link, so it's everything the Arcee figure at the time wouldn't have been, because that would have probably been, forgive me, but it probably would have just been that at best, with no articulation at all, and probably can't stand up. But they've even given a little heel spurs which tuck away inside, so there is additional stability when posing her. That head is very stiff, mind you. So yeah, if you want to get a bit of a dynamic sort of spy mode Arcee, you can do. She will do it for you. It's just a really lovely figure. Just got to be a bit gentle, but yeah, I think she's a lovely figure. I'm really glad I picked it up. I was in two minds about getting the prototype one, but then I thought, well, why? The prototype one is sort of niche, and I'm not really. It didn't really do anything for me. I get it, and I totally understand why some people would want it. You know, absolutely. But this is enough for me. This Missing Link Arcee, really good, very dynamically posable. Yeah, I'm very happy with what we've got here. As I say, I'm gonna mess with her. I'll see how I feel about putting the stickers on. It's not a done deal one way or the other, but it's again not my preference. She does have a tendency to want to fall forwards, so there is a slight need to tilt her backwards. I don't know why that is the case. She does tie, I mean, look at this. So this is Takara Tomy giving us this figure. Look how cleanly, and you could argue that it's not that clean at the back, but I'm going to tell you now, it's a damn sight cleaner than we've seen in other figures where there's supposedly better engineering. The head is very 80s, just a screw on the back, but she does have that sort of Princess Leia inspired buns on the side of her head. I don't know if that's where they were inspired from. That would just be my guess, because there's no other excuse for it, is there? She does have a lovely face sculpt. It's a lovely shade of pink, much lighter than the rest of her body, and those blue eyes are fantastic and damn sight better than the sort of fembot that you got in Studio 6 Series 86. Which again, as I say, the figure I don't mind. I quite like the figure, but when you compare it to this, which is what, you know, a sort of dream version of what we would have had we ever had a figure in the 80s, you know, it almost puts the modern ones to shame a little bit. Seeing what it is capable of, because the design is the design, but there's no, yes, the legs have a certain curvature to them. There is the design on the chest, but there's nothing that sort of screams female Autobot, and it's just so compact. Look at it. Look how compact she is. No need for sort of parts forming or massive shell forming. Everything is contained in the chest. Yes, the legs follow the similar format because they sort of wrap up and fold up inside, but they wrap up and fold inside her when she transforms into a car. And she puts on a hood and a bonnet. You know, that doesn't happen. So I'm really enamoured with this. So I don't know if you've picked this up yet, or maybe if you have and you're waiting for them to arrive, or they've just started to arrive. As I say, mine arrived literally today. What is the day? Is it 1st of October? Yeah, so this has arrived on the 1st of October. I'm going to try and get this out on the 1st of October. I don't know if I'll manage it, but I will try. If not, it'll go out on the 2nd. But I will aim to get it out today. But yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic, and I am sold. For me, this is a no-brainer figure. I would urge anyone who likes the G1 aesthetic, anyone who's gone for the Missing Link, and anyone who just really loves the sort of overall aesthetic of Transformers through time, you know, as they've progressed and adapted to moving to the future, i.e. now. I really recommend it. And again, I said her car mode is very much what I think in the 50s and the 60s people were imagining cars of the 80s and the 90s would look like. So it's brilliantly conceived, and I'm a fan, in case you hadn't noticed. I bought mine through In Demand Toys in the UK, but they're available through other outlets as well. And of course, presumably directly from Hasbro themselves. Let me know down below. What do you think of this version of Arcee? Are you a fan of the Missing Link collection? Are you going to get the future ones? Have you already eyed up Ultra Magnus? I think it's a hefty toy, but it's a hefty price tag. But if they've got the engineering right, it's going to be really interesting to see that new version of Ultra Magnus. I am hooked on this range. Again, I'm not buying every item in it, but I will get the ones that really appeal to me. This one appealed to me. Yes, Ultra Magnus appeals to me too. But for the here and now, Arcee, I think she's brilliant. But feel free to disagree and have your own views down in the comments down below. But if you are going to disagree, which you're more than welcome to do, please explain why, just so that I get an understanding and an insight into your thought process. That would be amazing. And of course, if other people love it and have picked it up, please be respectful of their choices, like you'd be respectful of mine, and you'd want us to be respectful of yours, which of course we will be. So I've been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You have been a fantastic and wonderful companion while I've been having a look at this for me, very exciting entry into the Missing Link range. It's Arcee from Takara Tomy, as she would have appeared in the G1 range, although with far more articulation now than she would have had then. You've been a wonderful companion, as I say. I really look forward to seeing you in a future video, or of course, as the Time Travelling Toy Collector, a past video. They're all out there. Check them out. And it just remains for me to say, the thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.